All right, guys and gals, we have some interesting news, and that is that David Ayer has posted more images from Suicide Squad, and that has renewed calls for Warner Brothers, AT&T, and HBO Max to release the Ayer Cut. So before we get into an article and the photos, I just figured in this introduction I would just give my quick thoughts on it. I do think that they should release the Ayer Cut because what came out in 2016 was just a completely butchered, cut-up version of his true vision, and it was turned into a music video with a bunch of reshoots, and Zack Snyder got his due, and I think David Ayer deserves his due as well. Because as everyone knows, essentially the same thing happened to Zack Snyder, where his original movie just got completely screwed up by the studio and good old Joss Whedon. And that began the calls for the release of the Snyder Cut, which eventually came out. And now you can say what you want about Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I think most of us, if not all of us, can agree it was probably 1,000 times better than what came out in 2017. The only thing is what would have made Flash the true hero in that movie is if he could have reversed time to completely wipe the existence of Justice League. That would have made him the true hero. Okay, saving the universe, who cares? If he would have wiped that from existence, best hero of all time. But moving on, with Suicide Squad, it just got completely butchered and whatnot. So the studio interfered with it a lot, and Ayer has been very vocal since the movie came out that obviously the movie that came out in 2016 was not his version, and that he would like people to see his original cut. Now, I will say that to me, it's not about whether it's better or worse, okay? Because I know that's what some people are going to think. I mean, of course, I hope it's better. I hope it is, and I wish. My thing is that I just want to see what the director intended, okay? I also do think Jared Leto gets a lot of hate, a lot more hate than he really deserves, because, sure, what we got in the movie wasn't really fantastic, but to be fair, his scenes were really chopped up, and it wasn't cohesive, and they didn't even pick the best takes, right? So I just feel like if we got the original version, then you can definitely critique him. But until then, I just think he gets way overly hated. And I don't think Ayer deserves all this hate as well, because obviously what came out in 2016, he didn't want that to come out. So, but if this ever does come out, which I hope it does, if it's still not a good movie, then fine. He deserves all the hate or whatever. But until then, I don't think he deserves all the hate he's been getting, because we all know it's been pretty relentless, okay? And it's just, I don't think it's, logical, honestly. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the article first. Okay, so before I start reading this article, of course, I just want to make sure to point out that, so the headline is Suicide Squad director David Ayer shows new Joker image, says Jared Leto killed it, but no one knows. And of course, since I'm going to be reading this from a source, it's from comicbook.com or whatever, and this article is by Spencer Perry. So this article says, despite previously saying his piece about the existence of the fabled Ayer Cut of the 2016 film Suicide Squad, filmmaker David Ayer has taken to social media to hype up his version of the 2016 feature film and the performance by Jared Leto as the Joker that was left on the cutting room floor. Leto has found himself in the news recently as his performance in the upcoming Morbius and House of Gucci have been spotlighted in high-profile trailers. Ayer's tweet simply reads, quote, Jared killed it, but no one knows, end quote, and includes a photo of Leto in character on set holding a baseball bat, seemingly an all-new image as Google image search turns up no results. You can check it out for yourself below. Quote, I put my life into Suicide Squad, end quote, Ayer previously wrote in an extensive open letter, which he captioned, my turn. In a tweet, quote, I made something amazing. My cut is intricate and emotional journey with some bad people who are shit on and discarded, a theme that resonates in my soul. The studio cut is not my movie. Read that again. And my cut is not the 10-week director's cut. It's a fully mature edit by Lee Smith, standing on the incredible work by John Gilroy. It's all Stephen Price's brilliant score with not a single radio song in the whole thing. It has traditional character arcs, amazing performances, a solid third act resolution. A handful of people have seen it, end quote. So right here is just a quick peek of the tweet, which we'll get into later, but this is just, quick little teaser for what's to come later. And of course, here's his tweet, Jared killed it, but no one knows, and then there's the photo of Jared Leto as the Joker, and as I said, we'll get into that later. The article continues with Ayer's 3-page letter on the matter culminated in the lines, quote, every movie is a miracle, and James's brilliant work will be the miracles of miracles. I appreciate your patience. I will no longer speak publicly on this matter, end quote. Following the successful campaign to get Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour extended cut, which was released earlier this year on HBO Max, hope was held out that Warner Brothers might provide the same treatment to Ayer's version of Suicide Squad. Previously cut material from that version has found its way online with photos showing a Deadshot Harley Quinn kiss, plus original script pages from Ayer that would have resulted in a much different version. Even before Snyder's director's cut could be released, though, Warner Brothers made it clear they weren't bringing out the longer version of the 2016 film. quote, "We won't be developing David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad," end quote, and Sarnoff, chair of CEO of Warner Brothers Studios and Networks Group, told Variety back in March. Yet, the calls for the release of the Ayer Cut movement, however, continue. So the first photo we're going to talk about is, of course, everyone that pretty much everyone's talking about, and that is just the one that David Ayer posted on Twitter, because on Instagram, I believe he posted 4, which we'll get into those other ones. So there's 3 other ones besides this one, but on Twitter, he just posted this one. So as we already know, it was of Jared Leto's Joker, as you can see in all its glory, and shirtless, of course, has all the tattoos. I know there's people who kind of debate about the tattoos still. I mean, I get that. Honestly, the only one that bugs me is that damaged one. That's really the only one that bothers me. But clearly, this is the Arkham Asylum scene, and he's got the baseball bat, and I know in one of the cut scenes that he beats one of the guards, I'm assuming, to death with that baseball bat. You can kind of see it in the background in the original version, but I think in Ayer's version, you actually see him doing it. So, as the tweet says, Jared killed it, but no one knows, except a handful of people, I guess. But yeah, I truly believe that Jared Leto deserves a shot. I mean, I think his little performance in Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think definitely improved quite a bit. So it gives me a lot of hope for his full performance if this movie were to ever come out. And of course, once he tweeted this, it seemed like initially when he tweeted this, there wasn't really that much of a response. But then when I checked it again this morning, it's like, oh wow, the likes really went up. As you can see at the time I took the photo, it's up to 18,000, almost 19,000 likes, and I'm sure it's probably more than that by now. So that's the first photo. Very interesting. I really want to see that Arkham Asylum scene extended. I'm sure there is an extended version of it, because that was one of my favorite moments of the film. But of course, it was really cut up weird, and just, yeah, that's one of the scenes I definitely want to see more of. So the next 3 were the ones that were released on Instagram, and of course, yet another one of Jared Leto's Joker. Well, 3 out of the 4 are, and this is from the Twitter account, the Ayer Cut. And as you can see, very interesting photo. I mean, the eyebrows are kind of wicked there, I guess. And the one thing you can definitely say is the costume department went all out with this movie. Because the one thing you can definitely say about this movie, regardless if you love it or hate it, is that it has had a huge impact on pop culture. That's like not even a question. I'm pretty sure everyone can agree with that, especially when it comes to Harley Quinn. Because even like this last Halloween, when you see people dressing up as Harley Quinn, I'm sure most of them are still dressing up as Harley Quinn from this movie, right? Either that or the OG red and black jester suit. But I still feel like most people dress up as the one from the 2016 Suicide Squad. So very interesting, showing those very beautiful grills, I guess. And I don't know if we'll ever see that where supposedly, I think the story is, if I recall, is that Batman punched out his teeth or whatever, and that's why he has grills. I don't know if that's right, but I swear I heard that somewhere. So very interesting. I do like the jacket. I'm not going to lie. I mean, even though you just see a little snippet of it, I'm assuming it's just a nice white tux or whatever. Or vest. I actually think that looks cool. I do like his costumes in this movie, that's for sure. I loved his costumes in this movie. Now, the third photo is, yet again, Jared Leto Joker, and this is clearly behind the scenes. Yet another interesting outfit. I can't tell if he still has the ha-ha-ha eyebrows or not. I didn't really zoom in that much, but maybe it's still there. But he's got that gold gun, gold AK-47, that you saw briefly in the movie, which maybe you see more of it in Ayer's Cut. Not like it matters. It's not like a gun's an important thing, but it's during the helicopter scene. Now, people also pointed out that David Ayer obviously directed End of Watch, and if you've watched End of Watch, there is a gold AK-47 in that, so people kind of pointed out like if there was a connection or if it was like an Easter egg or whatever. So if you didn't know, there was a gold AK-47 in End of Watch, and maybe that's why he has the gold AK-47 in this movie, as maybe a callback to that movie or something. I'm not sure, but very interesting photo and a very bold choice of a gun, but I mean, it's the Joker. I mean, he likes going bold, doesn't he? So lastly, we have this photo of the dude wearing the panda costume, which if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was the character, I think his last name was Frost. I don't remember his first name, but I think his last name was Frost. I think he's the one who's in this panda suit, which I don't know why, but I love this costume so much. I liked all of the costumes that Joker's gang wore in this movie. That's why I want to see more of them, because I loved all their costumes. And I believe Frost, he was like the second in command, basically. So yeah, I think if I recall, he's the one in the panda suit. And this, once again, Arkham Asylum scene. It looks like all the other, or at least one of the gang members is dead on the ground, the one with the goat mask or whatever. But I'm not sure about everybody else in the back. I'm sure it's just a bunch of guards and inmates and things like that. As I said earlier, that was one of my favorite moments of the film. So I really want to see the full version of it, and not where it's not so chopped up and everything. So definitely would like to see that. But yeah, I don't know why. I just find that panda costume adorable. Now, I know it probably wouldn't be adorable if it was in person and he was holding a gun like that. But, you know, when it's a movie, it's cute. All right, so what do you think of all the photos, and do you think that they should release the Ayer Cut? Let me know in the comments below. And before we end this video, I just figured I'd do a quick summary and just go over all my thoughts again. I do think that they should release the Ayer Cut. I really do, because what came out in 2016 clearly was not the version that Ayer wanted at all. It was completely butchered, cut up, turned into a music video, not edited very well. And it's just, as Ayer claims, is that his true movie is edited nicely. There's not a single radio song, and it's got a nicer plot and things like that. So it does sound like it's quite different, and I really want it to happen, because once again, it's not about whether it's better or worse. Of course, I hope it's better. To me, it's more about letting the director show what they wanted to show us. So I hope it happens. Once again, if there was no chance of it happening, I wouldn't think he'd still be posting about all this stuff and releasing these photos and whatnot. So I think there's a shot that it can happen. I don't know when it'll happen, but it could be a couple months from now. It could be 4 years from now. Who knows? But I do definitely think that it should happen. It's just, my whole thing is, I just don't understand Warner Brothers at all. I just don't. I mean, how many times can they shoot themselves in the foot? It's clear what fans want. And to be quite honest with you, it seems like more people are interested in this a lot more than most of the future DC projects besides the Batman. And it's just, I don't even think Warner Brothers has a foot at this point, how many times they've shot themselves in the foot. I mean, I'm being dead serious. It's just ridiculous how much they are harming themselves. They had a golden opportunity, and they just effed it up so bad. And it's clear what the fans want, and who does it hurt? What does it hurt to release this version? I really don't get it. It doesn't hurt anybody. It's ready to go. Just release it on HBO Max, and there you go. I suppose Warner Brothers is just thinking, well, if they release this version and say if it is really good, which I hope it is, but I'm not going to say whether it is or not, because you don't know until it comes out, then, of course, the Restore the Snyderverse thing will get even louder, I would assume. I think that's why they're very hesitant to release it. It's just, I don't get it. Honestly, I applaud Ayer for still supporting Warner Brothers and all that, even after all the crap he's gone through, but I do really hope that this does get released. So, of course, once again, let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course, as always, I would love to see you all next time. For